Miss Mandy, if you would just share with us some of the things we talked about earlier about, and feel free to ask questions, okay? Because that sort of gives her a feel for how to do things. But like we were talking about how you preserve things, like cabbage.
Well, he asked me about how we put up our stuff way back. Our grandmothers before I was born, before I was married. Well, my mom and daddy used to farm a lot. And he raised corn, raised taters and cabbage and cane. He made syrup himself. And then whenever the corn got dry, he cut the tops. And then in November, then he gathered the corn, put it in a crib. And then when we have taters and cabbage, when we dig them out, then Mom and Daddy gather them up. We all have to haul them up. Well, he'll go out there in the end of the field, in the garden, put some grass and weeds all together, not dig a ditch or something, just haul it around the dirt. Then he'll tell us, bring the taters down, put them on top of the weeds. So we'll put them on top of the weeds and just haul them up. Well, he'll go out there and get some more weeds and haul them up again and cover them up with weeds on the taters. And after that, then you can get that dirt, hauled it up, put about that thick dirt on top. Then he get some kind of board and lay it on top. And that's where he kept his taters through the winter, after he digged them out of the ground. And they stay dry, and when you dig them, you just have to make a hole down the bottom enough to get your taters that way at one hand. Not let the air go in there, because if the air goes in there, it'll make them spoiled, where the air hits them. And then the cabbage, now she used to make Daddy dig a ditch about that far. And she'd get that cabbage and stick it down in the hole and let the roots up in the air, just turn it over. And then she'd cover it with grass, just this old grass that grows in the field. And then put the dirt over it, and that's where she kept her cabbage. And when she got ready to eat, want cabbage in the wintertime, January, we go out there and dig it up like cabbage to cook.
And it would swell back up to its original size, that's right.
And you're done the same way with the turnip greens. When they got heads, you can bury them in the dirt, and you can dig them up in January, and there'll be some sprouts on them. And they're good to eat when they digged out of the ground. And that's the way we kept our food way back. And then when we have they kill a hog in summertime, my mama would get a big wash pot. You've seen, I guess, anybody's seen them big wash pots they used to have way back. She'd put all that meat in there and build a pot under it, and she'd keep stirring it. And finally, when it gets hot, it gets lighter to stir, and it starts cooking that meat, and it cook all that meat up, and then she'd get all that meat out and drain that grease out and put it in the jar and keep the fresh meat for the spring. And that's the way my dad and mom kept the meat. And then in wintertime, they had spring houses. They'd lay the meat out there and put it up. And then we dry cabbage. I guess anybody hadn't know what dry cabbage is. You can dry the cabbage and strain it up in the stream and hang it up in the house, and it dries and it turns brown when it dries. Then you boil it when you start cooking it till it gets really done. It takes quite a while for it to cook whenever it's dry. But you just take just about that much to cook, because it swells after it's been dry. And we do that. Well, I still do that too myself. Cook my cabbage up.
Okay, do you do it by the leaves, or do you dry the whole head?
Just the leaves. You take each leaves off.
And spring it up like you would an apple?
Mm-hmm.
So like leather.
Just like leather britches. Then we fix the leather britches.
When she's putting when you put the cabbage in the ground, you said you dug a ditch and put the cabbage. Did you put grass under the cabbage?
Yeah, he put the grass,
And then grass over the cabbage,
yeah,
leaving the roots out?
let the roots stick up.
And then did you cover the roots too when you covered it?
Yeah, you cover it all. See, it stays cool in there where he can put all that grass on top and then put the dirt on it, just like we do the taters to cover them up. That's the way he used to put it up for
Would
us.
you need to dig the ditch where there's no, where the water wouldn't stand?
No, yeah, he'll have a ditch there, so you see that dirt's piled up and that water runs down on the side.
I see.
It never gets in there, just like putting your taters up too.
So you dig the ditch on the high place, then where the water would not, the ground
Yeah.
water would not run.
Like I'll get my taters when I put them up. We dig a little ditch so the water won't go down in there. But they'd be that much from the ground when I put them on top of that ground, so the water won't come in there.
Yeah. I remember filling up potatoes that way.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the way our old people done that way back. Whenever they put things up, they didn't have to buy anything when they were. They used to farm, and nowadays you can't see nobody doing all that. Even my people forgot to farm, making a garden or nothing. They just a few people that's farm up my way. That's taught how they do the work.
Another thing that we used to do, I was raised over in eastern North Carolina, where they raised the flute cured tobacco.
Yeah.
Where they put the farm, they would, toward the end of the tobacco season, when they dug the potatoes, they would throw the potatoes in there inside this barn and heat it up a little bit. And this kind of dried the skins out, so, and then they just leave them there in the barn on the ground. And that works too.
Well, my daddy has to leave them out in the sun a while till they all dry up good, See, they're wet when you get them out of the ground. He let them lay there till the next day, then he'll bury them so they can be really dry. And if you bury them right away, he said they'll rot, or they damp. And that's the way he used to put his potatoes up. And all that, what we had to do, it was, I was thinking, when somebody asked me, would you like to go back on way back, or you like it now like it is this time of year? And I just told them, no, I'd rather go back when I was a little kid. It wasn't as bad like it is now. And we were all happy. And I said, then way back.